Hello staff, hello students, and welcome back to Chef Mel's Kitchen. So today we're going to be making a mushroom biryani. Now, does any of you remember, this is a few episodes ago, what a biryani is? If you are, answer. That's right, my eagle-eyed and eared students. A biryani is an Indian rice dish. Because I can't remember what dish it was, but a few dishes ago I used a biryani spice blend, didn't I? Oh, it was for my burger curry, I can't remember. But today we're going to do a biryani, which is an Indian rice dish. It's going to be another vegetarian one, because I do tend to cook. I'm not a vegetarian myself. My parents are veggie. My mum was a fantastic vegetarian cook. But I often cook, you know, 3 or 4 times a week I'll cook vegetarian food, because it's really cheap, it's healthy. And when it comes to Indian food as well, a lot of Indian food is vegetarian. And the reasoning behind that, and this is sort of in connection to what my students are going to be studying over the next few weeks, because they're going to start studying about healthy diets and specialist diets. So obviously vegetarian is a specialist diet in itself. But the reason why a lot of Indian recipes are vegetarian is because of religion. Now, sort of the 2 main religions in India are, sort of the 2 predominant ones are Hinduism and Islam, so that's Hindus and Muslims. Now, with Muslims, they don't eat pork, that's against their religion. So that's the reason why you don't really see much pork curries on menus in Indian restaurants. And the Hindus, a strict Hindu, I know a lot of Hindus that eat meat anyway, but strict Hindus are supposed to be properly vegetarian. So they don't eat any meat at all. But I do know, again, just like how Muslims don't eat pork, don't eat pigs, strict Hindus that aren't vegetarian already, they don't eat beef, they don't eat cows, because cows are considered a sacred animal. So that's the reason why when you go to an Indian restaurant, when you order a curry, whether it's a chicken korma or a boona, nobody's touching my boona. Anyone seen that on Gavin and Stacey? Anyone that orders a curry, it usually either comes in chicken, it comes in lamb, or it comes in vegetable. And so lamb or mutton and sort of chicken is the main thing. It's the reason why, again, you don't see many beef or pork curries. So I'm going to be using, again, a short selection of ingredients today, but a few spices, because, you know, you tend to use a fair few spices in Indian cooking. And I'm going to go through some of the ingredients and then obviously through the method. So these are all the ingredients you're going to need. So the fresh ingredients are 300 grams of mushrooms. Any type of mushrooms will do. These are the cheapest ones, the white ones, 300 grams of mushrooms. I've got 1 large white onion. I've got a bunch of fresh coriander. So those are the 3 fresh items. And again, with onion, you can get diced onion frozen if you're looking for long shelf life, and you can get frozen chopped up coriander. I don't know whether you can get frozen mushrooms. I've never bought frozen mushrooms, but worth a little look in the freezer section, isn't it? So those are the fresh. We're going to be using a jar of Chinese-inspired curry sauce. I know it's an Indian recipe, but I had this in the cupboard. I had this in the cupboard and savoury rice in the cupboard, and I thought, what can I make? And I thought, bang, biryani, perfect. But we're going to be using some more. So Chinese curry sauce is a bit kind of like the curry sauce you get in a chippy, if you know what I mean. But I'm going to be adding some more Indian spices to that to sort of bring that sort of Indian element, classic Indian element out. I'm going to be using 3 packets of savoury rice. This brand, Hearty Food Company, is really good. Like, each of those packets is only 25p. So I think it's really good value for money, because I think this recipe will feed about 3 to 4 depending on appetite. Definitely 3, possibly 4. But, you know, 3 if it's me, because I'm greedy. The 3 spices I wanted us to use. So I'm going to be using 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, because biryanis tend to use sweet spices, cinnamon, cardamom, and cloves as well. So not cloves that you wear, cloves with a V. And I'll just show you what a clove looks like. So, oh, there you go. So clove. And I'm just going to be taking off the little top bits of them. So it'll be a tablespoon of whole cloves, but I'm just going to crumble the top bit. And I'm going to put that in. And it'll be 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, again, which is an Indian spice to bring the Indian elements out. I'll use a little bit of oil, salt and pepper, and 1,250 ml of water. But that's all the dishes together. So I'll go on to the next step. In a large non-stick pan or wok, put 2 tablespoons of oil, a large onion finely sliced, and a pinch of salt, sugar and pepper. And I want you to fry that for about 10 minutes. I want those onions really nice and caramelised, like a nice golden brown colour. Now add your spices. So that's a tablespoon of the cloves that I powdered down, that I ground down the top bit. A 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, because ground cinnamon's very strong, and 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. That goes in. And also, your mushrooms go in now. Oh, there's not much room in there now, is there? Ho, 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 ho. Have you missed my dad jokes? So those get fried for 5 minutes until, again, they will... I've only just halved the mushrooms. I want them to stay chunky, but they will shrink down because of their moisture content as they cook. Now you need to add your jar of curry sauce. That all goes in. Lush. Yum, yum, yum. Your 3 packets of golden rice. Oh, I haven't opened it properly. There we go. So golden vegetable or savoury rice is dried rice with various flavourings. And can you tell me, students, what spice is it that makes it yellow? That's right, turmeric. There we go. Which is used in Indian cooking, so that's why I sort of had the idea of making this. All this goes in. Okay. Now traditionally as well, another little question for you, it's like a little quiz today. Traditionally, biryani is a braised rice dish. If a dish is braised, students, what does that mean? That's right, it means it normally goes in the oven. If I had a big enough shallow dish with a lid, I probably would finish it off in the oven. It leaves the really nice fluffy rice, but I don't have a pan that size, so I'm just going to do it in the wok. So that's your rice. 1,250 ml of water. Whoa, all that. And half your coriander. So I chopped all the big bunch of coriander, and half's going in now. And then the other half I'm going to put on top as a garnish, as a sort of large garnish. Now bring that to a nice sort of bubble, and then that needs to cook on a medium heat for about 25 minutes, stirring every so often so it doesn't get stuck. And after 25 minutes you check that it's absorbed all the liquid and that the rice is al dente. Al dente meaning with a bite, because you don't want curry rice pudding, and you also don't want crunchy rice. You want like rice with still a little bit of texture there. After 25 minutes your rice should have soaked up all the liquid. Give it a nice old stir. And of course, what we always do, what we always check before we plate up, just going to check the seasoning. Yummy. It needs a little bit of salt actually. I won't go mad, because you can always add, but you can't take, actually a bit more. You can always add, but you can't take away. So a bit of salt, but then I'm happy with that. So finish it off with a really nice generous handful of fresh coriander oil on the top. If budget isn't a problem, it's also nice with some toasted flaked almonds on top as well. Nuts and fruit are often used in Indian cooking. You can also add sultanas to that actually. Oh, I should have added sultanas. I have got some in the cupboard. Yeah, dried fruit goes well in this as well. But yeah, there you go. And when you've got a big pan like this, like paella or risotto, I think it's nice to bring the whole pan to the table and allow everyone to help themselves. And of course you can have like a few things like poppadoms and, you know, mango chutney and sort of nibbly things to have alongside it as well. Or it's just nice on its own. But there you go. So mushroom biryani.